Welcome to another edition of Thinking Through the Word. One chapter from one book, moving our way through all the books of the Bible. We're in Proverbs, and I've chosen Proverbs chapter 3. However, we'll only look at the latter part of the chapter. The first 12 verses are actually pretty familiar to a lot of folks. So let's look at the latter part of Proverbs chapter 3, beginning with this key word, blessed, in verse 13. Blessed is the one who finds wisdom and the one who gets understanding. Now, the blessing then is tied to this one who finds wisdom, the one who gets understanding. Those go together, wisdom and understanding. So the parallelism, the one who finds wisdom, the one who gets understanding. That person is this blessed one. Now, I want us to clear off a little here and look at this idea of the one who finds and who gets. Those verbs almost sound a little passive, as if you stumble upon it, as if it happens to you, but the reality is they're active. When we look back to Proverbs chapter 2, those first 5 verses, we see lots of action verbs, seeking for, calling out, crying. So finding and getting are both strong, active words. That person who is actively pursuing wisdom and understanding is this person who is blessed. However, blessed is also a little bit vague because perhaps of its overuse. So what does a blessed person look like? Well, let's look just in this paragraph, 13 to 18, because we'll see at the end that word blessed again. So that's circling back to the beginning, and everything in here is describing the blessed person. So let's look for the blessing that comes to that one who finds wisdom and gets understanding, beginning in verse 14 with an explanation word for the gain. The gain is better than gain from silver. Her profit better than gold. She is more precious than jewels. Nothing you desire can compare. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand, riches and honor, ways of pleasantness, paths of peace, a tree of life. All this is the blessed life. So look at this winding path of blessing through all these key words. That is the promise of Proverbs to the one who seeks for wisdom. Believe this. Believe that wise, godly living really is the full, rich, blessed life. Let's scroll down a little more. Verses 19 and 20 remind us that this wisdom that we are pursuing, this wisdom is rooted in the Lord. The Lord, by his wisdom, founded the earth. By understanding, he established the heavens. By his knowledge, the deeps broke open and the clouds dropped dew. So this wisdom that we're pursuing is God's wisdom from the start. And he has always designed that wisdom to govern life on earth. Much like the law of gravity, wisdom is rooted in God's design for us. And so let's seek it. Let's pursue it. Let's pursue the blessed life of wisdom that comes from God. Moving on. My son, do not lose sight of these. What? Of sound wisdom and discretion. Don't lose sight of them. Why? They will be life for your soul. Then you will walk on your way securely. You will not stumble. If you lie down, you will not be afraid. Your sleep will be sweet. Wisdom and discretion. The appeal to the follower, to the growing, to the maturing one. Don't lose sight of wisdom and discretion. They equip you. They ready you for, remember, that blessed life in those earlier verses. Now, let's note a number of the commands that flow out of this wisdom and discretion. If you pursue those, then we have a lot of commands that begin to flow. Do not be afraid. Do not withhold good. Do not say to your neighbor. Do not plan evil against your neighbor. Do not contend with a man for no reason. Do not envy a man of violence. Why all these commands? All of these commands remind us that if we are exercising wisdom, then we can keep these commands. And in each command, we have an explanation for how that command or why that command can be obeyed. So look at the echo of the verse to see how that command can be kept. Do not be afraid of sudden terror or of the ruin of the wicked when it comes. Here's why. For the Lord will be your confidence. He will keep your foot from being caught. So don't be afraid because of this. Verse 27, do not withhold good from those to whom it is due. Why? It is in your power to do it. So when it's in your power to do it, do not withhold the good. You're equipped for that command. Do not say to your neighbor, verse 28, go and come again tomorrow and I will give it. When you have it with you, that's how you keep that command. Do not plan evil against your neighbor. Well, what's the motivation for that? He's dwelling trustingly beside you. Don't violate that relationship of trust. Build on it. Do good and not evil to your neighbor. Do not contend with a man for no reason when he's done you no harm. You realize he's done you nothing but good. He's done you no harm. Then don't do harm to him. Do not envy a man of violence. Why? For the devious person is an abomination. So in each case, we have an explanation, a reason given, a motivation for obeying these commands that reflect our pursuit and thus our laying hold on wisdom. Finally, in the last paragraph, we have the summary that really drives home the point. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the dwelling of the righteous. And now he's just going to repeat this. The scorner doesn't receive God's grace, but instead his resistance. He is scorned. But to the humble, he gives favor or grace. These verses remind us of James 4:6. God opposes the proud, but gives grace, favor to the humble. The wise will inherit honor, fools disgrace. So the Lord's curse on the scornful, they get disgrace. But he blesses the righteous. He gives favor, honor. That's a great trio of promises that began in verse 13 with the idea of being blessed. The pursuit of wisdom, the blessed life is a life of grace, a life of honor. So, as Proverbs 1 and 2 and now 3 have told us, seek wisdom. The wise will learn and increase in their wisdom. May God help us to be wise this week.